Good day. Welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Workers in the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, are demanding better working conditions. Today, dozens of them downed their tools to protest what they describe as unhealthy working conditions at the hospital. To press home their demands, they blocked the entrance of the main hospital carrying placards and chanting solidarity songs. They're also calling on the Nigerian government to intervene in the crisis rocking the hospital. Our correspondent Flourish Alonge has more on that story.
It is 8 a.m. and they should be settling down to begin the day's work. But this is how staff of one of Nigeria's premium health institutions stand for work. They say they have tolerated the poor management and working conditions in the hospital for far too long. But now they are tired of the situation and want a change.
Our demands are simple. LUTH must work. LUTH must work. LUTH has not been working for so many months, so many years. And as workers, we are not happy because when LUTH doesn't work, it's not just patients that are at risk. Health workers who are not different from patients, they can become patients at any point in time. So we are saying that looking forward, we need to take concrete steps to ensure that the rot in LUTH is reversed. Specifically, we are talking about the absence of basic things to work with on the wards. You don't have gloves, you don't have cotton wool, you don't have needle and syringes. Taps are not running in almost all the service points. You understand? You go to the theater and you're not even sure that the planned surgical kits will be carried there because of so many challenges. Sometimes they tell you that sterile materials to work with are not available because the departments that do with doing that have not had power to sterilize equipment.
What is going on here is legitimate and it is an attempt to save the lives of Nigerians. LUTH is not what it was envisioned to be today. LUTH, as envisioned years back, was a place of excellence, a center of excellence, where people, no matter the ailment, will come to and get medical relief. Today, LUTH is completely run down, completely. Essential equipment are no longer in existence in LUTH. And so you hear horrible stories about the goings-on in LUTH, how people come in here with purely preventable ailments and then ended up dead.
Armed policemen locked up the gates to the hospital to ensure the protests remain confined within the premises. Patients who needed urgent medical attention could not gain access to the facility.
Between last night and this morning, our members who work in LUTH kitchen were harassed by LUTH security. Some of them that were on night duty, that have finished work, that were lying down in their office, were chased out. Even some of them were half naked when they were chased out. The HOD of Dietetic Department is currently writing to the CMD on that issue. Over the weekend, one of the doctors here was beaten up by patient relations. We didn't see security like this. Today, because we want to express our grievances, we want the whole world to know that we are not happy with the leadership of this man. This man is not competent to handle this institution. He's not qualified. He's here illegally. He should go. And yet, he is doing all these things. When people were being beaten up, he didn't bring his security this month.
Efforts by TV360 Nigeria to speak with the management of LUTH over the crisis was not successful. We were told the spokesperson of the institution was not available. But some management staff that would not want to be identified told us the management of LUTH was looking into the grievances of the workers. Flourish Alonge, TV360, Lagos.
Nigeria's Customs Service says 404 rifles seized from a port in Lagos State were imported from Turkey. The rifles were falsely concealed in a container as plaster of Paris. Since the incident was uncovered on Tuesday, one person has been arrested in connection with the importation of the rifles. Authorities say they are yet to locate the importer. This makes it the second time the customs is intercepting large cache of weapons in Lagos State. Just earlier this year, the commission discovered over 650 pump-action rifles shipped here into the country. Until date, no one has publicly claimed responsibility or ownership for the shipment.
Based on intelligence reports, this thing island under the command of Contra Bashiru. He's one of our best officers that we can showcase at any time. He was able to make use of the intelligence report made available to him, and the container was identified and then intercepted. So there's no question of any custom officer releasing any container here. It was intercepted before even declaration. And so on opening it, we have discovered that they use POP powder, which is on the floor here. You can see it down here. And there's the container down there. Can you just keep clear down there? You can see POP there. This POP, was used to conceal, the importation. And so there's no way we're going to know about that, but based on intelligence reports, we're able to discover that this container was laden with these arms.
Generally, anytime we have interceptions like this, it requires a lot of intelligence profiling of importers. The 21st century customs calls for that. You don't wait for things to happen before you start working. And that's just what we meant, and that's what my ACG just said. Apart from the 440 pieces of various sizes of this kind of pump action, Magnum branch, some from US, some from Italy, but mainly imported from Turkey. We have other accessories in this container as well. Several parts dismantled, definitely to be reassembled. So investigation requires we go deeper so as to get to where this quasi-factory of arms assemblage is in Nigeria, so that the nation will be safer in the end.
Security operatives in Borno State say they have foiled an attempted suicide attack in northeast Nigeria. A statement from the police said 3 female suicide bombers were on their way to Mamanti village when security officials sighted them. They hurriedly detonated their explosive devices, killing themselves alone in that attack. The police say no civilian casualty was recorded. Boko Haram have stepped up attack in the northeast since it released 82 Chibok schoolgirls earlier this month. The new United Nations Fund set up this year to tackle the looming famine in Nigeria has reached $24 million. This year, the UN and partners are aiming to reach 6.9 million people with life-saving aid in the northeast part of the country. States worst affected by many years of insurgency are Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe State. The appeal for 2017 detailed in the humanitarian response plan is for $1.05 billion, making it the 4th largest single country appeal globally. Reports of an imminent coup are simply not true. Nigeria's military says speculations about a coup plot credited to the army should be ignored by Nigerians. Its spokesman, Major General John Enenche, made this clarification on Wednesday in Abuja, the nation's capital. He says, quote, "Should there be any signs of actions that point to likely breaches of military code of conduct, as it were, cautions or warnings are issued with possible investigations following." End of quote. His statement echoes a similar one made by the Nigerian government on the alleged coup plot.
Nobody should be afraid of any coup. The armed forces is totally loyal to the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria and ready and in complete subordination to civil authorities. And all levels of command, we are out there administering our troops to remain focused and be conscious of the oath of allegiance that we have taken, guided by the constitution of this country. So that is my final remarks to you, to build on that and then reassure the general public that there is nothing like that, and nothing like that will ever be supported, will ever be encouraged.
More on our top stories, the Nigerian government says 415 billion naira has been distributed to the federal, state and local government as revenue collected for the month of April 2017. Ahmed Idris, who is the Accountant General of the Federation, disclosed this when he briefed newsmen on the outcome of the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting held in Abuja, the nation's capital.
For the month under review, that is April, revenue figures, we realized a total sum of 415.73 billion naira. This is against the previous month figure, which is 467.807 billion naira, thereby giving a negative variance of 52.077 billion naira. As usual, there is the NNPC refund of 6.33 billion naira to the federal government. These figures, as given, were what we shared and distributed among the three tiers of government, namely the federal government, the state governments, and the local governments. Despite the shortfall we have this month compared to previous month in terms of revenue that has been distributed to the federation units, I think next succeeding month, generally we hope to see greater and better performances from all angles and even from all revenue generating agencies, having increased their capacities and propensity to generate more. I think the economy is getting better.
Nigeria's acting president Yemi Osinbajo chaired the weekly cabinet meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Osinbajo chaired the meeting in the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari, who is currently undergoing medical treatment in the UK. Details of that meeting are yet to be made public by authorities. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has requested approval of the House of Representatives for fresh $1.28 billion and £9 million under the 2016 till 2018 external borrowing plans of the federal government. In a letter, Osinbajo explained that the $1.28 billion was to support the operations of the Development Bank of Nigeria. The acting president explained that the donors were ready to release funds to the DBN following the approval of the National Assembly. Chairman of Nigeria's Finance Commissioners Forum, Mahmood Yunusa, says the recession currently being experienced in the country is in its best interest. According to him, finance commissioners in the country see the state of the Nigerian economy as a blessing in disguise. He says the recession spurred most states to internally generate their revenue rather than constant inflow from the federal government.
What I will say is that, yes, the future is looking very, very bright. Based on our projections and our expectations, we are almost getting out of the recession. States still need support from the federal government in terms of finances. That is not to say that the states are not doing anything. A lot of states have improved on the internal generated revenue, a lot of states. And that we, the commissioners, looked at the recession as a blessing in disguise, because the recession has pushed us to the world to look at what we have inward. What are the good things that we have inward that before now we don't look at them, because as a result of constant inflow from the center. Now that the revenues are improving, that will not stop the states from putting all necessary machineries in our respective states to ensure that we are financially stable and our economic policies will move on well, uninterrupted.
The Nigerian presidency says the federal government will begin the non-graduate scheme component of the N-Power program in July this year. Afolabi Imokwede, who is the senior special assistant to the president on job creation, disclosed this at a meeting in Abuja. He says N-Power had two broad components, which is the graduate and non-graduate schemes. Imokwede explained that the non-graduate component of the program was designed to empower the beneficiaries with vocational skills. The Inspector General of the Nigerian Police Force, Ibrahim Idris, says plans have been concluded to recruit 30,000 personnel annually. The IG says the plans were underway to establish more area commands across the country to create opportunities for promotion of qualified officers and men. He says 200 million naira had been set aside for payment of the entitlement of police pensioners. Nigeria's anti-graft agency is marching against corruption. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission staged a peaceful walk in Abuja to condemn corrupt practices across the country. Acting chairman of the agency, Ibrahim Magu, says so much has been gained in the past 2 years in the fight against corruption. He promised that the agency would not back down on the anti-corruption war.
I stand before you today and make a solemn pledge never to give up in the fight against corruption. Those who dread to be punished for their corruption should take notice that EFCC is watching. The Commission will trace and recover all ill-gotten wealth and bring the perpetrators to book. It is time to weep for those who believe they can perpetually hold down Nigeria as a cow and milling her to death. It is time to weep for supposed men and women of honor who pose as anti-corruption fighters. But when they think we are not looking, they plot and form the collapse of the anti-corruption war. Why we don't have good roads? The answer is simple. Why we don't have hospitals and our political elites prefer to go outside the shores of this country? It's very simple. It's because the money has been stolen. And these days we have seen even burial grounds are being used to stock money. It's no longer in millions, it's now in billions. This is the predicament, comrades. This is the predicament, Nigerians. Our politicians are crying. We, the people that are being exploited, we are also crying. So we don't know also who is even corrupt. But the fact is that even the corrupt elites are also saying that Nigeria is corrupt. We that are on the ground, we are also saying that the system is corrupt. So the fact still remains the same, that there is a systemic corruption in Nigeria across all levels. And therefore we Nigerian citizens must be ready at all costs to make sacrifice and make Nigeria a better place.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Don't do like that again. No.
Thank you. So, bye-bye. Hey,
Oga,
where do you think you are going?
Oh, you never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body, see?
Eh? You never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
I don't get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Down.
What's this man still doing here?
They say I should shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I should do it. And I say I don't get color.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma'am.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
Corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
You're watching TV360 News now. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has decided to retain the country's benchmark interest rate at 14%. This is the 5th time in a row the CBN has decided to leave all rates at the same level. CBN also decided to leave the existing cash reserve ratios for commercial banks at 22.5% and the liquidity ratio at 30%.
The committee weighed the implications of continuing global uncertainties arising from dwindling commitment to global cooperation, the strengthening of the United States dollars, and the unsteady commodity prices. Committee similarly evaluated other challenges confronting the domestic economy and the opportunities for achieving economic growth and price stability in 2017. The MPC was of the view that whereas the downward trend in inflation in April 2017 is a welcome development, the rate was still significantly above the policy reference band. Committee is particularly pleased with the gradual retreat in inflation, the relative stability in the Naira exchange rate across all segments of the foreign exchange market, and the improved prospects of foreign investment inflows. The committee also welcomes the passage of the 2017 budget and called on relevant authorities to ensure its judicious implementation, especially the capital budget in line with the economic recovery and growth plan. Consideration of the challenges weighing down the domestic economy and the uncertainties in the global environment, the committee decided by a unanimous vote of 8 members in attendance to retain the NPR at 14% alongside all other policy parameters.
The CBN governor also insists that the country will come out of the recession in the third quarter of the month. Emefiele says positive signs such as the increasing national reserve and decreasing inflation show that the country's economy is on the right track.
With all the positive signs we see, inflation trending downwards, GDP, I would say, improving to the extent that the negative growth rate has decelerated, I would say, quite significantly. The fact that we've seen Forex go to real sector and production capacities and industrial capacities are beginning to improve. We've seen positive signs in various economic sectors of the economy. I am very confident that by the end of the third quarter that we would be out of this, and I still hold that position.
Oil prices rose on Wednesday, supported by growing confidence that OPEC and other big producers would agree to keep output restricted for the rest of 2017. Benchmark Brent crude oil was up 25 cents a barrel at $54.40 per barrel, while U.S. crude was up 20 cents at $51.67 per barrel. Both crude oil benchmarks have gained more than 10%, rebounding on agreement that OPEC and other producers, including Russia, will maintain strict limits on oil production to drain a global oversupply. At least 34 migrants, most of them children, drowned on Wednesday as Coast Guard boats tried to save hundreds packed into boats off the coast of Libya. One of a group of boats tilted suddenly, sending about 200 people tumbling into the Mediterranean Sea. A Coast Guard called in more ships to help with the rescue, saying about 1,700 people were packed into about 15 vessels. More than 1,300 people have died this year alone on the world's most dangerous crossing for migrants fleeing poverty and war across Africa and the Middle East. A fifth man has been arrested in the UK over Monday's bombing at a pop concert at Manchester's Arena. Police say they are investigating a network that may be connected with the bombing that killed 22 people, including children, and injured 64 outside an Ariana Grande concert. The suicide bomber has been identified as 22-year-old Salman Abedi. UK's terror threat level is now at its highest level of critical, meaning more attacks may be imminent. Police say the fifth man, who was arrested in Wigan, has been carrying a package which is now being searched. Five-time world cruiserweight and heavyweight boxing champion Evander Holyfield has announced a $3 million donation to the Lagos state government. Holyfield, who is in Lagos as part of activities marking the Golden Jubilee anniversary of the state, says the donation is part of his efforts to give back to the society through his foundation. The donation is expected to help improve healthcare services in Lagos state.
We believe strongly that in all sectors that we have tried to celebrate Lagos, this is one momentous topic that we really need to celebrate. We've always wanted to use sports as a way of driving our economy, and there's no way to showcase sports as a catalyst for economic growth than bringing somebody who is a champion, a revered person, and to be able to come and use his own God-given talent and resources to also promote, sports clinic or sports promotion in the state. We're very grateful for that. We believe strongly that we will partner with the Evander Holyfield Foundation to make sure that whatever it is that the set objectives that you have set out, it will be for the well-being and welfare of all Lagosians, not even those youngsters or future boxers, but the mere fact that the foundation also tries to promote issues that relate to health, issues that relate to things that can actually make the well-being of Lagosians to improve. And that's why you have in the midst of those that are receiving also all our health stakeholders, so that we can see down beyond the other things that your God-given talent has given you. And I love that concept that you want to pay back, and that's the essence of leadership. The whole essence of leadership is to be able to touch humanity.
I had a good attitude. I got more chances, and because I got more chances, I'm the only guy that ever been a heavyweight champion world 4 times, and I feel that coming into the situation with the kids, what they gonna say? They asked me, who is the greatest? I said, by opinion, you can say Muhammad Ali. I said, but did you put it on record? It's me. So whatever you want to do. So I'm here today to say, well, I got a real deal promotion. We looking for young fighters. We looking for young fighters who want to fight, who want to listen, who want to follow direction. And I feel that I can give this offer to the people in Lagos, and cause good fighter come out of tough situation.
Yaya Toure and his agent Dimitri Selok have promised to donate £100,000 to help victims of Monday's suicide bomb attack at Manchester Arena. The victims of the blast include children, with some as young as 8 years old. Toure's agent told newsmen that the news of the children killed in the incident moved them to make that donation. Among the 21,000 fans at the concert were Manchester City's manager, Pep Guardiola's wife, and 2 children, all of whom escaped unharmed. Spain's Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal filed by Barcelona superstar Lionel Messi against his prison conviction. Messi and his father, Jorge Messi, were sentenced last July to 21 months imprisonment for tax evasion. They both appealed the judgment, but the court has decided to dismiss that judgment. However, since both men have no prior criminal history and the sentence is below 2 years, they will spend no time behind bars. That's all we have on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okuru.